Hello friends, Jenkins here, bringing you another Dota 2 video on behalf of Pugna.com, and this is going to be a video that I'm doing in response to Donnie's video on the main Pugna channel where he talked about the differences between the Radiant and the Dire and basically why the Radiant is better in the current patch. And I wanted to cover specifically why I think the Radiant offlane is a lot stronger in the current patch, and I want to do it fairly quickly. Okay, first and foremost, I think that warding is a lot easier on the Radiant offlane. You basically have a choice between two wards as an offlaner now, this one or this one in these two general areas. You wouldn't place one in the middle because it's very easy for a support that's very greedy to deward that by placing a single sentry. Any ward in this area is going to be easily dewarded, so you want to place them kind of at the top or the very bottom. You wouldn't place it deeper over here because the supports will see you if you try to run into there, so you only have a choice of placing it up here, placing it here, or being very not greedy with it, and you can place it here in the lane. But that's so, I mean, that doesn't give you a lot of information. So these two wards are great because, as you can see by this blue marker, this ward gives you vision into the river, which is where a 4-role support might gank you. It gives you vision up to this area, which is where the 5-role support will gank you. It gives you vision over here, which is where a 4-role support might gank you, but more importantly, you get vision of this camp, so you can side pull, you can see if they're pulling, and it gives you a lot of information onto the slow ground here. This ward also gives you information about this camp, as you can see by the blue marker, which is great. It gives you vision over here, which is where the 5-role will gank you, and it gives you vision over here, which is where you're going to see the 5-role going to pull. So if the 5-role leaves, you can go and be more annoying to this safe laner here. So this is a great ward as well. On the Dire side offlane, this ward that scouts the river is exactly the same. It's exact mirror of the other ward. It gives you good vision for all the same reasons. Unfortunately, though, this ward, as you can see this marker, it gives you vision to the side where the 5-role is going to be pulling, or to this side where the 5-role is going to be ganking you, but it does not give you vision into this camp, so you cannot use this camp as effectively or stop the enemy team from using this camp as effectively. It does not give you vision over here where the 4-role might be ganking you from. So this ward is just strictly worse on this side than on the other side. In terms of very defensive warding, the Radiant side is a lot better too, because you have this nice cliff here that you can place a ward on. This gives you vision into the river where a 4-role or a mid player might be coming with a rune to gank you or to secure this tower. If they dive you and you have this ward is going to result in them getting totally destroyed if your team TPs in, because they'll have to run this way or this way, and it gives vision of both of those things. Then it also defends this jungle over here and prevents you from being ganked from this kind of side over here if you're hiding behind your tower. So this ward is really, really great. On the Dire side, something like this exists as well, but it just doesn't give you as much vision. It's just strictly worse vision for you, better vision for them in terms of if they place a ward here. So if you place a ward here and you're on the Dire side, sure, this prevents you from getting dove. This stops the enemy team from escaping if they run to the left if your team TPs in, but it doesn't give good vision into this area here or over here or the river like the other ward does. So this is just strictly a worse ward on this side than it is on the other side. The second reason that I think it's a lot easier to lane on the Radiant offlane rather than the Dire offlane is because cutting the creep wave is significantly easier at level 1 on the Radiant side than on the Dire side, just because there's a lot better ways to get into a position to cut the wave without the enemy team seeing you or being able to stop you, without having to use any smokes or do any shenanigans where you're fighting at the level 1 rune or anything like that. You can just go by yourself and cut the creep wave super easily. As you can see, here I'm walking on Keeper of the Light offlane, and if I hug this wall, look at this, I'll go ahead and go to their fog and just see what they can see. So if you look at this tree line, it's actually blocking off and creating fog over here, so I can walk up here without them seeing me, and then I can stand here and just wait for the creeps to spawn, go cut it over here, and then they're going to run back and chase me. If they do that and I think they can kill me, I might TP out, but I have so much space to do this on this side, and you simply cannot do that on the other side. So I'll go back and change the fog on so it's on both teams and show you guys. So if you were to do this on the other side though, if this guy wasn't disconnected and this guy wasn't threatening to feed, then there would be supports standing right here. That's just where Radiant supports always stand to defend this route, just because it's on the high ground. So they'll see you if you try to walk up this way. They'll see you because their heroes will have vision of you. If you try to walk up this way, well, that's suicide. You're probably walking right into them. Same if you walk this way. So really the only way to cut the creep wave on this side is if you hide somewhere over here, which is a lot more dangerous because you're cutting here where all of the carry will be there, the supports will be there, and it's just super, super dangerous. Or you have to fight the rune, or you have to smoke. And those are all a lot harder scenarios to execute than to just walk up here casually and then just walk here and cut the creep wave. It's so much easier on the Radiant side with this method. So here we have a replay of a game that I played recently where I'm Tiny, a hero that doesn't mind getting a Quelling Blade first. There's a lot of offlaners like this. If you have a Quelling Blade first or any mechanic to kill trees, on the Radiant offlane, it's a lot easier to get into a really sweet spot to cut the creep wave with, where the enemy team is not going to be able to stop you. Nobody ever expects this. And I'll go ahead and speed it up here just so you can see very quickly. So I go and I cut some very specific trees, which allows me to get into a position where the enemy team is just not going to be able to see me cutting this creep wave. It's just so hard to stop this. And it cuts the wave at a point where the carry is not going to be able to help the support. So if it's not both supports there capable of killing you, then basically this is a free creep wave cut. You just cut these trees that you see me cutting here. And then that tree that you saw me cut is so that I don't take damage from that tower, because this Witch Doctor might actually be able to stop me. But you can see that this is just such an incredibly easy way to cut the creep wave. And with this way, there's almost no way that they can stop you unless they have some ridiculous heroes for either scouting you or for like a BH maybe or something like that, hiding in the trees, or a hero for stopping you from cutting the creeps, like, you know, multiple stuns like a Shadow Shaman or something. But this was just such an easy game for me because this creep wave cut is available. And on the Dire side, you can do this, you can cut through, but what happens is you actually end up right here. And guess where the carry is going to be? The carry will be here as well. So this is actually a lot more dangerous of a spot to try to cut the creep wave than over here, because it would not be worth it for the carry to chase me here, because then the creeps will go into the tower. Whereas on this side, he can just kill me and then run to the, you know, run over here, and he'll be totally fine. So that's the thing, is you can just do this on the Radiant offlane. You literally cannot do that on the Dire offlane. There's not enough time with the Quelling Blade. So that's just one reason that the Radiant offlane is a lot better. The third big reason that I think offlaning on the Radiant is a lot easier than offlaning on the Dire is because of the Juke Spots. I think that the tree Juke Spots on the Radiant are much better for the offlaner than they are on the opposite side of the map. So here we have a clip of a game that I played recently, and I will speed it up just so I can show you guys this Juke Spot. But these supports were being mega annoying. They were doing a really good job at trying to kill me here, but unfortunately for them, the Juke Spots on this side are just so damn good that they weren't able to keep track of me. And you can see that they're doing a really good job at it. Like, these guys are super high skill at trying to kill me here. But I cut into the trees, and that tree right there that you saw me cut, that is one of the best trees to know in this current patch. I've seen so many offlaners completely destroy with that Juke Spot. So look where the supports are right now. If you go to look at both of the fogs. So look at them. They're just so confused right now. And the issue here with the Juke Spots around here is that there are so many possible areas that I could have gone. I could have walked, you know, this way like I did. I could have just went in here, walked around, and then he goes this way and I go this way, and I juke him anyway. I could walk out here, and then if you cut this tree, you don't get hit by the tower, and then I can walk this way, and there's no way that they can stop me. Maybe I can teleport out. You can cut through this tree right here and walk back just like I did, except with a little bit less walking distance. Like, there's so many potential paths that I can take, where even these supports who were really good at originally catching me here and putting me into this position, they cannot find me, because this Juke Spot over here is just so insanely good for the offlaners. Just, there's too many possibilities. And then you see that I get kind of, I'm like, oh man, these trees are dead, and the pings come out. They know exactly where I am, and they come in to try and kill me here. Luna tries to stun me, but she can't get it off. And here's the thing, you know, this is a lot of time wasting. So, you know, for me and for them. But it's a lot worse for them, because there's 3v1 happening here, and I'm getting experience still. And then if you look at the other lanes, I have Brood versus an OD. The Brood's going to destroy this matchup. In fact, he actually ended up winning the game for us. And then I have a Tri-Lane versus a Dark Willow. So this Dark Willow is going to feed this lane, and it's you know, in part as a result of me juking around these trees. And you can see even that I go in here, I go back in here, and there's so many possible places that I could be that it's just so hard for them to find me. They don't, you know, I could walk back up here if I really had to, although it's a lot easier if these trees aren't gone. But it's so much easier to sit in experience range on this offlane side, whereas over here, there's a decent amount of juking space, but you can absolutely not walk in here and behind the tower. It's just not possible. Look at this. Look how many trees there are. But you can do that on the Radiant offlane, and that makes it so much easier to lane here.